Hello and welcome to our Hearts Linger YouTube channel, where we share heartfelt stories of love, life, and everything in between. Today's story takes us back to the tender days of first love, those moments filled with innocence and emotion. It's a tale of a young girl's first crush on her classmate, the beautiful, unforgettable moments they shared, and the lingering regret of never finding the courage to confess her feelings. Have you ever wondered what might have happened if you had spoken up about your feelings at the right moment? Let's dive into this story together. It was in high school. And yeah, high school seems to be a time of endless contradictions, a place where we're caught between childhood and the edge of adulthood, where feelings are raw, pure, and unfiltered. It was during these uncertain yet magical years that I met him. He wasn't the center of attention, not the star athlete or the one making everyone laugh. He was the quiet type, the kind of person whose presence speaks louder than words. My high school crush was the class vice monitor, always neat, always dependable. There was an understated charm about him, a quiet confidence that seemed to draw me in. Maybe it was the way he carried himself, or perhaps it was the way his eyes softened when he smiled. By chance, or perhaps it was fate, we ended up sitting next to each other. At first, it was just a seating arrangement, but soon, it became the most anticipated part of my day. Sitting next to him felt like being on the edge of something extraordinary, even if neither of us dared to acknowledge it. We'd talk about little things, shared assignments, jokes about teachers, or random observations about the world outside our classroom window. There was one moment that still lingers vividly in my mind. One day, he opened up to me about his parents arguing. His voice was quiet, almost as if he was afraid of the words themselves. I remember fumbling for the right words, trying to reassure him with a nervous smile and soft-spoken encouragement. "Things will get better," I said, even though I wasn't sure myself. He looked at me then, his eyes filled with a vulnerability I had never seen before. In that moment, I felt an unspoken bond, fragile, yet undeniable. Every morning, I would find myself rushing to school, heart racing at the thought of seeing him. Just knowing he'd be there, sitting beside me, was enough to make the world feel lighter. Did he know how much those moments meant to me? Sometimes, I wondered. But first loves are like that, aren't they? They exist in a strange liminal space, both monumental and fleeting, both simple and profound. And then, things changed. One day, he moved to the desk in front of mine. I don't know why, maybe the teacher's decision, or maybe he just wanted a change. It wasn't far, just a single desk away, but it felt like an entire world had come between us. The conversations grew shorter, the shared moments fewer. Yet, even in that distance, he managed to surprise me. One afternoon, as we were busy with our lessons, I accidentally let my foot touch his under the desk. It wasn't intentional, at least, I think it wasn't. He turned around and looked at me, his eyes filled with something I couldn't quite name. Was it surprise? Amusement? Or maybe something more? His lips curved into a small, knowing smile, and in that moment, time seemed to stand still. It's moments like these that define the nostalgia of a high school crush. That fleeting moment gave me hope. Hope that maybe he felt the same way I did. But neither of us said anything. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Graduation came, and with it, the inevitable farewell. We exchanged polite goodbyes, our voices betraying none of the emotions hidden in our hearts. As I watched him walk away that day, I wanted to call out to him, to tell him everything I had kept locked inside my heart. But the words never came. And so, he became a memory, a bittersweet, untouchable piece of my past. Some memories never fade, no matter how much time passes. They don't just linger, they embed themselves in your heart, quietly shaping who you are. These are the kind of memories that resurface in the stillness of a rainy afternoon or the familiar hum of a favorite song. My first crush was one such memory, a love so quiet, so unspoken, that it blossomed in the smallest, most fleeting moments. It wasn't the kind of love you see in movies or read about in books. It was something simpler, gentler, and yet inexplicably profound. It lived in the way our eyes met across the classroom, in the shy smiles exchanged over shared homework, in the soft hum of the world when it felt like it was just the two of us. Now, years later, I often think back to those days. I still think about my first crush. What if I had been braver? What if I had told him how I felt? Would it have changed anything? Or was our story always meant to be just that, a beautiful, unspoken chapter in my life? And so, this chapter of her life remains a bittersweet memory, a story of words left unsaid and feelings kept in silence. But it taught me something invaluable, that sometimes, the courage to speak up can change everything. On occasion, the words we don't say are the ones that echo the loudest in our hearts. What about you? Have you ever had a first love story or a high school crush, a moment where you held back your feelings and always wondered what could have been? Share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories like this. Goodbye and see you in the next one.